Whether you call it a brush truck or a Type 1 or Type 6 engine, whether you call it a water tender or a tanker, whether you call it just a brush fire or a wild and urban interface, Task Force Tips has lived in this area for a long, long time. Now, years ago, we purchased KK Products, and KK Products was a large producer of what we used to consider as kind of the low-end forestry firefighting pieces of equipment. As it moved its way into the TFT product line, we, of course, through our engineering and manufacturing expertise that we had, we kind of redesigned. We tried to keep the things that worked very well for us on the KK product line, and then we tried to add the things that we knew TFT to make the things more rugged and more reliable. So today, you know, when you're considering brush trucks, when you're considering the design, development, and sales of this sort of apparatus, whether it's a skid unit or built into this brush truck like we have here, we want you to consider Task Force Tips for the rugged reliability that we offer on our twist type nozzles, little forestry T's and Y's that we may have in the product line, these simple little inexpensive Y's that we have, valves, twisters, tip onlys, smooth bore configurations, ball valves. I mean, there's just hundreds and hundreds of different products that we have that are designed very specifically for the brush firefighting or the wild and urban interface type firefighting that we do. Also, you have to remember that absolutely every TFT nozzle that we produce also has some sort of a foam attachment that goes with it as well. Now, this one is designed to work on one of the 1.5-inch twisters, but literally every nozzle that we have has some sort of a low expansion or multi-expansion foam attachment that can be added to it. So if you're using Class A foam, and many of the brush trucks do use Class A foam anymore for a valuable tool it is to enhance the water and enhance the firefighting capacity of these smaller trucks, consider TFT, whether it's a straight nozzle or any of the valves or the foam attachment. TFT has all the loose equipment needs that you may want for this brush truck. In the design and development and creation of any sort of a brush truck design, one of the things to be considered, of course, is the use of a fixed monitor on the front of the truck. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this anymore that we've seen at TFT. Number one, staffing is just not the way it used to be. And with limited staffing anymore, to have a firefighter that's working off the rear of the truck and dragging hose lines around, you lose a tremendous amount of the flexibility that the apparatus has. And at the same time, it becomes a safety issue. Anytime you can put your firefighters off the back of the truck or off the ground and into the cab where they're safer and allow them to be functional in using a monitor, a remote controlled monitor like the Tornado that we have here, we think it's a lot safer application, as well as maximizing the limited staff that we have today. Now, in this case, the Tornado monitor is rated up to 500 gallons a minute, but certainly at 500 gallons a minute, that's not practical for a truck like this that has a pump that really is about a 90 to 100 gallon a minute pump. So what we'll typically do is we will add an appropriate nozzle that matches up to the applications. Now, in this case, on this truck, we have one that is a selectable gallonage automatic, which means being an automatic nozzle, it will still function as we open and close the valve, but we can limit the amount of flow that comes through it. Now, in this case, because this is a smaller truck, the tank on board is only 200 gallons of water, and we try to maximize our water. This case, what we'll do is I think we've got it limited. I think the top end of our flow here is 30 gallons a minute. So in this case, with the valve all the way open, we'll still only ever get 30 gallons a minute. And this can be adjusted and changed right here at the nozzle. There's a little operational control ring that when you go into a fire, you can set it from 15 all the way up to 125 gallons a minute. So again, it's another way of being able to maximize the amount of water you have on the truck, keep the crew inside in a safe setting. And even today, remote control, whether it's just the driver by himself using the joystick inside, or even if you have a passenger to work with you, the joystick can be pulled out of the tray and used really by either operator in the truck, making it both safe and very functional, that a person can drive and another person can operate the remote control monitor. One of the other things that you'll find on here that's also very popular is we have a couple of mounting points on the top of the monitor up here that lighting can be put to. So we now have the ability to add lights to these as well, so that from the inside the cab you can light up a whole area, and it will aim as the monitor aims towards the fire, so you can see what's going on. So again, if you're looking for rugged reliability and the standardized type wiring and electrical controls that TFT uses throughout its entire series of monitors, the Tornado monitor in the combination with these different nozzles is absolutely the perfect choice. Even if you have compressed air foam systems, we actually have a CAFS nozzle that works for this same monitor setup as well. One of the unique components that TFT has that kind of marries up with the tornado monitor that's on the front of this brush truck is a joystick inside. Now the joystick in this case happens to be mounted into its own little holder at this point, but it can also be removed so that the operator, either the driver can operate it while I'm sitting here, or if I have a passenger over here that has a moment to work with this, allowing me to drive, he can operate the joystick and squirt water and put fire out as we're driving along. But I want to go through the joystick very quickly. Two things. Number one is the operation of the joystick. In a lot of vehicles, as in this vehicle, about that point I can no longer see the monitor on the front of the truck, so I can't see where the stream is going. We have a really nice position display over here though that indicates both that it's left or right, that it's up or down, so it gives you a very good sense of exactly where the stream is going. We also have the ability to vary the speed from a slow speed to a much more rapid speed, depending if you're trying to sweep or if you're trying to move from point A to point B very quickly. We have an oscillate function, so it's something if you're just driving through a cornfield or a brush field and you want to just continually sweep an area, you can set it up to do that automatically. And when you're done, you can hit a stow function button on here, which puts the whole monitor to sleep, either right or left, and nozzle down wherever you choose to have that. So this whole position display indicator is a really nice component of the whole combination in this truck, to have both the valve, the monitor, and the joystick assembly in here. Now the joystick is also very unique. It has a couple of different functions. Now in this case we've worked with the KZCO valve company on this truck, and it has an integrated valve built into it. So this is in the off position of the valve. Now I can either open the valve completely open, or we hear the valve open I think in the background, or I can set it to operate with just the joystick. So I open, close. I can open my valve, close my valve. So it gives me kind of a point and shoot capability, and what it does, it allows me to fight a lot of fire without using a tremendous amount of water. Or if I'm in the situation where I just want to flow a lot of water, I can open the valve fully and water will be coming the whole time, no matter how I operate with the joystick, left or right. Now one of the other features that TFT has is also the ability to limit the flow. Just like we talked, we can also do that with the nozzle on the front by using that gallonage selection limiting feature, or we can do it right here at the valve. The little slider on the side indicates how far the valve will be allowed to open or close. So if you just want a little bit of water, small fire, 10, 15, 20, 30 gallons a minute, and restrict it, go no more, you just pick that, and every time you open and close the valve, that becomes a limit as to how far the valve will open. Very, very nice feature. It's all controllable from the cab. If I want to have a lot of water, I can open the valve completely up, and when I go to squirt water, I can now get the maximum flow from that pump using up a lot of water. Or if I'm in a situation where I really have to limit my water supply because I'm out a long ways from a supply source, I now have the ability to flow just little bits of water at a time as needed. So all of these combinations on this brush truck make this a very, very functional type truck. Whether it's the loose equipment that TFT produces, and like the twister or the bubble cup nozzle, or the little valves, adapters, elbows, and fittings that we produce, or the tornado monitor that's built on the front of this rig, or any of these components in here that allow us to stay inside and safe while we're working on a fire, you can count on TFT for probably the newest and greatest and latest products out here are built into this truck. So if you'd like more information, the TFT website has complete videos on all of these products that you can take a look at as well. Or if you have a question, just let us know at the 800 number, which is 800-348-2686. We're happy to discuss this and show you more videos and let you take a look on why this little brush truck is such an amazing piece of equipment.